it's nice to be here in Bansko. This is my fifth time over here. Who have been here 5 times, guys, already? Please raise your hands. Hello, nice to see you, and so on. I can say that this is definitely a right decision to come, because such events as Bansko Nomad Fest actually help you fulfill your own digital nomads initiatives, and I'm personally truly grateful for this event, which also shaped my life as a digital nomad. And I would say that my personal journey being a digital nomad went to the far extreme, because I'm doing this for over a decade by now, but also the speed of my traveling is too high for most people. So in my presentation, I'm going to share you like how I managed to juggle this all things together, and then you will decide, is it like a working model for you or not. So looking at a slice of my profile on NomadMania, like selecting countries I visited and when in 2004, it's possible to see all those countries that I managed to visit during the last year, in 2004. So this is part of the functionality we have, which is quite a lot. We have like 2,000 countries here. When it comes to regions, it looks on the map in this way. And the funny or crazy part about my digital nomad lifestyle is that usually I don't even spend a week in one place. So I'm changing locations very, very fast, which is unimaginable for most people, and it's actually not necessary for sure. This is the map of my flights, which I took in the first half of 2025, which is also pretty crazy, but you know, this is the way I'm used to, and I like to do it. The only exception would be from time to time short stopovers in Bangkok, and on this photo you can see my wife and the director of Bansko Nomad Fest, Holger, who is running somewhere around. Regards to you if you'll be listening to us or so. Holger has a nice idea of also putting together nomads in Bangkok. So reach out to him, and if you'll be traveling that crazy or maybe less somewhere in Southeast Asia, you can always have your home base in Bangkok. It's such a nice view by the river and for very affordable and nice conditions. So in total, during 2024, I visited over 100 regions. According to NomadMania, we have some kind of different statistics where people input their data and have kind of gamification system between themselves, trying to conquer each other in terms of the places and number of places they visited. So I managed to go all the way up to the 5th place, but it was not always crazy like that. So I was born in Lviv, in Western Ukraine. Normal guy playing tennis, having a happy childhood in a post-Soviet country. And by the time of graduating university, I was studying law in Ukraine. I managed to visit like 30 countries, still being a student, mostly relying on different international exchange programs and so on. So this hunger of traveling has been burning and growing, and you think, what can I do next? At some point in early 2011-12, I started working in digital marketing. Still, we are talking about the pre-Instagram era, before iPhone, before smartphones, in a modern sense. I was already dating my wife back then, and I would say that 15 years ago, we started to live digital nomadry. Then, many years after, probably in 2015-16, when the term became trendish, I was reading about the articles about this, and I thought like, this is actually what I'm doing for a couple of years already. So this is a classic picture of an early digital nomad, somewhere in 2012 in Bali, working from Varun with a very reliable internet connection. You will not have a smartphone back then that would produce a hotspot for your... So this is how it was, right? And 2012, 13, 14, you're basically this digital nomad, backpacking in Southeast Asia or other countries, working online already back then, mainly from the internet cafes, and you start questioning yourself, like, why do I do it? Yeah, probably every digital nomad is going through these periods in his life. And by that time, I already visited well over 50 countries. And I thought, okay, so why do I travel? I have my online business, I have my second half of my life moving together, we are traveling, everything looks good, let's set a goal. the goal that will shape all other activities around it. Yeah. And a nice goal is to visit every country in the world, because you are reading other travel bloggers, you see how they are doing these things, and this is like some nice statement which can shape your focus and build the entire life around it. So I started working towards that. By the age of 30, I visited 100 countries, including every single United Nations country inside Europe. And because I was so obsessed with this goal, I really sacrificed in like many other parts of my life. Yeah? So in order to reach 30 countries, 100 countries by the age of 30, I pushed myself that hard that within a year I visited 28 countries, all in a single 2017. Like that completely broke my bank account, my relations suffered, physically I felt exhausted, but I did like all these 100 countries, right? And then kind of you sort of question yourself like another time, why? Until you meet a certain group of people who actually fulfilled what you wanted to fulfill. I started to see more and more people who visited every country in the world and kind of trying to study how they did it. Someone was older, someone was younger, someone was financing these things with his online business, someone was already established in their other areas and just was looking for new challenges in life. So all these people were united with a mania of travel. And that's how I stumbled upon NomadMania. It appeared that the visiting every country in the world is not a big deal anymore. By the way, how many people in the world are there who visit every country? How do you think? Alive? Or did it in general? 100? 100, a little bit more. Maybe 10,000. 10,000, oh that's too ambitious. What I can say is that we at NomadMania are the authority on people who visit every country in the world. So we take it very seriously, we do the due diligence, we contact those people, and we even create the entire list of every single person who at some point in their life visited every single country. And I can tell confidently that there are approximately a little bit more than 500 people who visited every single country in the world. Just to compare, guys, around 700 people made it into open space. And then there are more than 3,000 billionaires in the world, and only half of 1,000 people who visited every country. So at NomadMania, I would say that at least a third of those people who visit every country in the world are our active users, and they're actually participating in our activities. And I would say that there is an overlap with the digital nomad crowd, but probably not more than 15%. So we are mostly talking about a broader travel topic per se. So seeing those people, talking to them, studying from them, I set another goal. Okay, let's still finish this 193 by the time of 40. This is doable. This will not put such a big stretch for me. If you're looking from 30 years to 40 years, it's only 10 new countries a year, which is relatively easy to do nowadays, I would say. And then another stuff happened. The COVID, right, which kind of slowed down all the travels and in general processes in our world. And then war in my country, Russia invaded, so there were much more important things to do. I had stopped my business operations previously and dedicated the first year of my life truly to participating in the Ukrainian resistance. I was doing accompanying humanitarian crews, war reporting from the front line, and also accompanying foreign media crews to kind of portray the activity which was happening in Ukraine and uncovering the war crimes. However, the life goes on, and at some point I thought, okay, let me eventually liberate myself, let me do what I can do in order to control all the processes in life, not being affected by meta activities, but still do my own role in the development and participating in a human society and life. Let me be myself, right? Numerous life coaches that are probably present on this event will tell you much more about this very simple but powerful idea of the wheel of life. Let's call it like a travel wheel of life, because you can put it on every aspect of the digital nomad essence as well. And basically, it means that you have a few areas of your life: career, physical activity, material possessions, personal stuff, your family relations, and so on. And if you try to take care of all of them as much as you can, then your life will be mostly smooth and well balanced as much as possible. So I will share how I do it. First of all, in our current team, we all work online, which is a normal thing for everyone. We have a diverse team from a few different countries, from Brazil to someone is traveling, let's say, in the Pacific side. So we are juggling between the continents, and we have a team of 7 at the moment. And it kind of found the way. We have weekly calls 3 times per week at 2 p.m. So today I have also my call, just to speak to it, obviously, and so on. In terms of finances, it gets also tricky, because imagine, in my case, when I'm traveling constantly with moving locations all the time, I would say that more than 300 nights per year I would stay in hotels. But also, 80% of my meals are usually out. So you need to be careful with this as well, to follow in the long term. And if you want to take care of it, I would say that for every traveler, for digital nomads, there are 3 main areas of expenses, which is accommodation, transport, and food. And if you try to work around it, you can make things acceptable for you. Something which I would tell works for me here is that I usually would spend a little bit more than average on accommodation, because this is the place where you rest and get your energy back up from where you work. And food is probably that part of the expense where you can go cheaper, but not losing the quality of it, right? So transport, it depends. In the cities, you would usually take a taxi, because it takes a lot of time to public transport. For the local haul, you do the regular transport options that are available. In terms of health, I also cracked the code, because I was always struggling with this. But then I remember that I've been playing tennis since early childhood. And as the presenter told, at this point I play tennis in almost 50 countries around the world. Bansko, actually, Bulgaria became the 48th country where I play tennis. And this is something which puts like a spine in the way how you can approach physique, because it's really hard to motivate yourself to wake up, to do the exercises. You always need to look for people with whom you hang out. There are not gyms anywhere, but tennis is available pretty much everywhere, apart from Somaliland, as you heard. Even in Haiti, even in some of the most remote places, this is actually one of the most popular sports in the world. Yeah, this is the entire crew. And I travel with 2 of my tennis rackets. Everywhere I can find a tennis player of my level, playing with them, and you instantly start having friends, which open doors to the local society there as well. I have an amazing family. They live in Ukraine. From time to time, we meet on different national festivals or important holidays. With my father, I was fortunate enough, who was still young and in good health and shape, to travel a few times in the recent years as well, so that things are working fine. My beloved wife is usually also next to me. We share around 60 to 70% of the travels together. And for fun and recreation, I do crazy stuff. So an example of a fun park to me would be, just to spice things up a little bit, is to cross the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan by land. Not knowing if the Pakistani e-visa will be actually sufficient enough to cross into Pakistan. And this is the photo from our recent trip last autumn with Mia and her cat Cleo. Mia, are you here somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh, Mia. Yeah, Mia already had a talk. We had an amazing trip from Kabul to Lahore over land. But yeah, that's what we do for fun. Also socializing with friends. It's important for digital nomad to stay minimalistic in terms of material possession in order to move around the world that quickly. So truly telling like everything what I own when I travel fast for a month would be this backpack of a carry-on size and the tennis rackets. That's it. I have a carefully designed set of clothes for sport, for casual stuff, and some outdoor activity, and that's it. But from time to time, we also can play with more fancy things, like we still have a car with my wife, we still have an apartment back home, we have some gear that we can take, use it, and so on. But mostly I'm pretty much happy only with this, and don't need much more in terms of the material possession. And from time to time, obviously, you have to set aside other things and think what to do, I'm happy with this or not. So this all looks pretty great, yeah, and it sounds amazing, but for every of those positive aspects, I can name you 10 negative parts, right? So it's difficult to wake up and motivate yourself, to motivate your team, to show up for all these calls, to fight between the different time zones. Sometimes you don't want to do this anymore, you don't want to open your laptop. But I mean, yeah, that's the discipline which takes care to make things done. Sometimes you can lose money. Like for example, I lost a few flights in traveling in the Horn of Africa, and then instantly you have to buy another flight which costs 10 times of your original flight. You know, so these things happen during this travel, and you question yourself like, do I do the right thing, or maybe I should just slow down, right? I was sick in Somaliland, nearly died. So when you travel in that pace, also it's not always fancy like chemists stay good looking and healthy, you get fucked up pretty often as well, I would say. There was a big toll on my family relations during those crazy travels. Like an example would be, I lost two of my grandfather's deaths, and my parents deliberately didn't tell me, so I don't freak out on the road and do wrong decisions flying back to Ukraine, just in order to participate in the funeral, right? But these things also happen, and that's the dark aspect of it. Our relations also have some cracks from time to time, and we have to fix them on the way, because, you know, women has their own part, how they see their family life, man has their own, and we try to make this balance to work it for us. It's not always fun, obviously. Sometimes you think, I would like to have a nicer house, a nicer car, a nicer clothes, and so on, but that's also the balance where you have to find between your travels. And obviously, everyone through us in our journey go through some spiritual transformations on this way, where you question how you follow and where to go. And the biggest challenge in this journey is probably why many of you are here is actually loneliness, because you want to find your peers, you want to find other people with whom to share this happiness, or from whom to seek for advice, for example. And I'm pretty sure that, guys, the Bansko Nomad Fest is a good place for that. So probably I will see you here next year and the next year, and many of you will kind of also find your way with this complicated crowd of digital nomads. But knowing that such event contributes to this. So now I would like to do this exercise that I told at the very beginning. Could you please tell me who of you have NomadMania app or managed to download the NomadMania app? Okay. You still have time to do it. So what I would like to do is that, because we are catering to travelers, and basically you can mark the countries you visited, you can mark the countries you visited, you have your own profile, you kind of grow your list, you meet the friends, but many companies have been trying to implement what I'm going to present as well right now, is that you go somewhere, you meet people, it's all interactive, and you can hook up with someone, do things together. Basically like meeting somebody on the road. Some companies did it better, some companies did it worse, someone succeeded, some will not. Considering that in NomadMania we already have a user base of more than 40,000 people, we, a couple of months ago, implemented a feature of location sharing and actually being able to find travelers on the road. So this is how the way you can do it. Now I just opened my app and I can see that almost 800 people are actively sharing their location. So if you open the app and you will see like the main map, this number here will stand for how many people are actually sharing the location. And if I click to this button, in case it's not activated for you yet, you will obviously have to share your location services in order to see other people, but in order to see other people, you have to share your own location, right? So if I do this, I instantly start seeing users actively sharing location all around the world. Yeah, so here we have a side of Eastern Europe. I was in Budapest when I was making this presentation, but now I see in Bansko, and I see hundreds of people around Europe, And I see in Bansko, I see 8 people now, right? We're seeing sharing location. Who is this? Can you raise your hand? Who is also seeing someone sharing? Right. So this is the way you do it. Also, if you see someone, you can click on this person. I can see Chris. I can see, let's say, someone I don't know. It's also Chris. So if you see those icons, you can click on the person and you can open their profile. You can see which countries they visited, kind of show you a map, and I will tell you who are you. You can add them as a friend, you can send them a message, and basically start a normal human interaction. So we believe that we made this thing work. We believe that it will also have more development in the future, but this is the actual tool that is available right now for everyone for free, that you can use and never be alone anymore. So guys, please make use of it. And I hope my story that showed the digital nomad transformation in over a decade somehow projected you what's possible and what's not. For somebody it could be inspirational, for somebody it would be not that encouraging. But what I can tell for sure is that digital nomad lifestyle is a very nice and interesting life direction. So thank you very much, enjoy and see you around. Bye.